खुद का मेडिकल सप्लाई बिजनेस शुरू करने के लिए क्या चाहिए? इक्विपमेंट, सप्लाई चेन, स्टोरेजची जागा आणि 24/7 मेहनत. पण सबसे पहले हिम्मत, कुछ अच्छा शुरू करने की.
थैंक यू. अपना घर सबका सपना है, लेकिन उसे पाने के लिए चाहिए मेहनत की सेविंग्स और बहुत सारी फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग.
फर्नीचर, पेंटिंग्स, सजावट,
लेकिन सबसे पहले
हिम्मत.
जिंदगी के सबसे बड़े फैसले लेने के लिए.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 6th anniversary celebration of Bandhan Bank. Thank you for joining us in what promises to be fascinating 60 minutes of banking wisdom. To start this evening, I would request the founder, managing director, and chief executive officer of Bandhan Bank, Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh, to deliver his opening remarks. Mr. Ghosh.
Namaskar. Our chief guest for the Foundation Day, Mrs. Arundhati Bhattacharya, our bank chairman, Dr. Anup Sinha, other distinguished guests, member of the board, my colleagues from the bank, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you all to celebrate the 6th anniversary of Bandhan Bank. I want to begin my address today by narrating a story of the courage, a story that illustrated what Bandhan Bank stands for and its mission, which has been our focus even since the beginning Bandhan journey. We know more than 2 decades back. Bandhan Bank, everyone feel that it is an Eastern region bank. I like to give another way that we are a bank, the pan-India. If we see that the Esther Thomas is our customer, and she lives with her husband and Lawrence and the 3 daughters in Madhya Pradesh. Her husband used to work as a collection agent and his income was inconsistent, which is not in Bandhan Bank employee, and not enough to meet his income to meet the need of the family of 5 members. The family had aspiration and Esther was determined to change the future of our family. She availed a loan from Bandhan and started a food delivery business from home. Over the year, her business proposed and she set up an additional livelihood option. This was for supporting her husband as he had lost his job as a recovery agent. During the pandemic, both the business were hit. The couple decided to start yet another business. Today, their day started at 4:30 a.m. with a tea stall and ends at 10 p.m. when they shut their garment store. In between these, Esther also successfully runs the food delivery business. Esther's eldest daughter aspired to be a nurse, and Esther has been able to fulfill her dream. The other two daughters study in a good schools. Esther has transformed not just her own life, but that of her family as well. This is just one of the numerous stories of courage and that we have had the pleasure of witnessing among our customers. It was the summer 2001 when Bandhan started the operation as a small non-profit organization. Since then, we have transformed from a NGO to Indian largest NBFC, MFI. Now, one of the India's fastest growing bank across the country. Bandhan aims at bringing large-scale societal transformation, not just financial, but development focused as well. Only when the GDP of the nation rises with the Human Development Index or HDI will true development happen. Thanks to the trust of our customer and the dedication of the workforce, in less than 6 years of the operation, our total business size crossed the milestone of rupees 1,50,000 crores. We are proud to serve our 2.35 crore the customers through our digital channels and through the vast network of nearly 5,600 banking outlets across the 34 states and Union Territory. We are not only the Eastern Region Bank. In the course of our work for over 20 years, including microfinance journey, we have seen high vintage customer graduate from being micro entrepreneurs to proud owners of small and medium businesses, creating thousands and lakhs of jobs in the process. Of the 1.70 crore of the customer who have availed the business loan from us, if each one employs just one more person to assist in the business, we are taking it 1.70 crore new employment opportunities. Today, these customers wear their banking services to further their business and upgrade their lifestyle. We are equipped to partner them in this journey and are transforming to remain relevant to them and all other audience. We have partnered our customers in their journey towards becoming successful business people. We are also focused on serving all other banking needs and they may have. That's why, as a part of its Vision 2025, Bandhan Bank set itself a goal to become a banker catering into needs of all Indians, wherever they may be based, whatever product they may require, and whichever mode of transaction they prefer, digital or physical. Both we are ready to provide on that. Our Vision 2025 backs itself on significant transformation, a journey that we have already embarked upon. By 2025, we target to build a well-diversified asset portfolio with an optimum mix of secured and unsecured assets. The focus will be on growth of the portfolio, quality of portfolio, and geographical diversification. In terms of geographical diversification, bank is rapidly expanding its network in areas outside its traditional core markets in the East and the Northeast. The three key verticals for the bank are the emerging entrepreneur business, which is called EEB, which comprises group-based loan and individual loans, housing finance, and other assets, which comprises MSME and other retail assets like personal loan, gold loan, auto loan, among others, whatever need the people. We have hired seasoned banking professionals to head these three pillars and provide the necessary leadership directions. Specifically for EEB, the rich experience of over 20 years of catering to this audience has helped us develop our own credit scoring methodology. Through this, we identify relevant high vintage customers who can be graduated from group-based loans to individual loans. At the same time, we are investing in digital capabilities to enable seamless and accurate credit underwriting for our graduate customers. We are also investing significantly in strengthening our technology backbone, leveraging data analytics to further strengthen credit decisions and delight customers with relevant offerings. We will also leverage data science and use case of artificial intelligence and machine learning to provide hyper-personalized omni-channel banking experience at scale for Indians. We are working on a completely new digital banking experience for our customers to provide secure, seamless, and convenient banking options to our new and existing customers. Bandhan also has the social side to it. The original NGO, Bandhan Konnagar, still exists and is dedicated to running programs aimed at community development in the fields of education, health, livelihood promotion, enterprise development, financial literacy, skill development, and employment generation. So far, Bandhan Konnagar has touched the lives of more than 30 lakhs families across 12 states in India. The journey of Bandhan Bank in these 6 years has been a good one. I thank our customers, regulators, investors, board of directors, my colleagues, and well-wishers for making this incredible journey possible. We look forward to your continued support in achieving greater heights in the future. I assure you the best is yet to come. We have with us today someone who knows about the process of transformation and its key imperatives all too well as the chairman of SBI, India's largest bank. Mrs. Arundhati Bhattacharya was the architect of a transformation that led the bank to embark a culture of innovation, liberalizing digital technologies interact with another renowned personality in the financial industry, is Latha Venkatesh. We would not have had a better chief guest to talk to us, and not a good interact like as a Madam Latha is given the time to us. It is very good and very memorable moment for us to remember in this, the 6th anniversary of Bandhan Bank. Welcome to Bandhan Bank's Foundation Day. Madam, we are all very keen to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your patient hearing. Stay safe, stay healthy, and namaskar.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. It's always so fascinating to hear the story of Bandhan and the impact it has created in the lives of millions. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us now to welcome our chief guest for this evening, none other than Ms. Arundhati Bhattacharya, who is the Chairperson and Chief Executive Officer of Salesforce India. And in her role, Ms. Bhattacharya oversees the growth strategy of the company and plays an integral role in defining Salesforce's relationship with the ecosystem of customers, partners, and community across India. Prior to Salesforce, Ms. Bhattacharya was the first woman chairperson of State Bank of India, or SBI, where she was credited with ushering in the digital transformation era at the company. Under her leadership, SBI went on to be voted as among the top 3 best places to work in India. With more than 40 years of rich experience in India's financial services sector, working across varied roles and diverse national and international locations, Ms. Bhattacharya has also earned a string of accolades to her name, most notably the world's 100 most powerful women by Forbes, and top 50 globally most powerful women in business, and world's 50 greatest leaders lists by Fortune. Madam Bhattacharya, we are all very eager to hear your thoughts. The stage or the screen is all yours.
Namaskar. And first of all, I must thank Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh, as well as the board of Bandhan Bank. It's very many people who are there today, the management, the officers, the staff, ladies and gentlemen. I must thank all of you for honoring me by inviting me to your 6th anniversary day and for giving me a little time to discuss my thoughts with you. As Mr. Ghosh was speaking, I was just thinking about a quote that I used for a message to my current company, Salesforce, on the 15th of August. It's a quote from Toni Morrison. And in that she says that if you are free, remember your duty is to free someone else. If you have some power, remember it's your duty to empower at least one more person. And I think Bandhan Bank has done this fantastically well in the last few years. If you look at microfinance, if you look at leveraging banking in order to empower people, bring about a betterment of their lifestyles and their standards of living, there is no other bank better than Bandhan Bank that can be given as an example of how it should be done. I know the area that they work in. I also hail from the east of India. And I do know that in the east of India, if you look to all of India, it is the area where the economy is still quite depressed. And given the fact that he has worked with only the small people who were actually new to banking, without any credit histories, and still brought the bank to this distance, is enough testimony to not only his courage, but his passion in actually giving back, in empowering the people and enabling as many families as possible. Actually, this pandemic has taught us all that this is very, very necessary. And why do you think that is the case? The fact of the matter is that the world today is riven between the haves and the have-nots. And the more that we deny this problem, or the more that we don't look at this problem in totality, we will actually be making the problem worse. It is very important for us to understand that inclusion, financial inclusion, is the first step towards creating a far more equal society, a society that will be more peaceful, a society that will be more productive, a society that will be more efficient, all of which is needed in the India of today. India is a young country still, and probably one of the youngest, and we still have quite a distance to go before, the demographic advantage deserts us. Now, within that period, say a period of another 20 to 30 years, unless India becomes a developed country, I think that chance will pass us by for the next 80 to 100 years. So we have these years in which to ensure that our society becomes an inclusively developed one. And it is banks like Bandhan Bank that are actually delivering that service. Now, this pandemic actually has turned, the world upside down. To a very great extent, it has taught us that today we not only need to have the manual ways of delivering business, we also need to have the digital. And Mr. Ghosh touched on the omni-channel piece of it. What I would like to touch on is that while, you need to keep the customer at the center, you also need to remember that in respect of your own employees, they must be able to access and deliver whatever they need to deliver by way of services from any channel, whether it be from their office, whether it be from their homes, whether it be from a truck or a bus or a minivan or wherever they are. So that being the case, the main the challenge before us today is to how to give equal access to as many people as possible, to as many kinds of service as possible through the many channels that are now available to us. Bandhan Bank, I'm told, and Mr. Ghosh has just confirmed, is already on its path to a digital transformation. This is very important. But while we go digital, we must not forget the human element, because the human element matters. If you ask me, I think there are two areas in which the human element is not going to go away, even if we get the best of AI and ML. And those two areas are the one of health and the other of security or money. In these two areas, people still wish to have some kind of physical presence, unless and until they have the kind of risk appetite, which at least in India, we don't see much. And that risk appetite has to be very, very high when you opt for something which has no physical presence at all. Bandhan has the unique capability of providing this hybrid experience to its customers, and it has been doing so very, very successfully. And that is the reason why I must congratulate Mr. Ghosh and all the rest of the Bandhan Bank employees, the management and the board, for having steered this bank in a manner that it has worked in one of the most backward areas of India and still come such a long distance with such a sterling record. It is of no doubt at all that what Bandhan Bank has been able to achieve, a lot of people would not have imagined it as achievable. When they got the universal banking license, there were a lot of murmurs as to whether Bandhan Bank would be able to live up to the kind of responsibilities that would now be cast upon it. Because as you know, the banking today is an area which is very highly regulated. Bandhan Bank, however, has shown very, very clearly that they are well up on the job, that they can do it, and they have managed to actually improve their businesses, improve their parameters. They have actually gone ahead and done inorganic growth as well as organic growth. And they are where they are today on account of the fact that they have the passion to actually deliver to their customers. At all points of time, they have kept their customers at the center of their operations. I congratulate all the people from Bandhan Bank once again for having really worked upon the very different value proposition that they brought to the table here. And I believe that this is something that will set them apart for years to come, but will also be one of the instruments that will change the standard of living of hundreds and thousands of our Indians and make the society a far more equal one. With that, and with all my best wishes for very many more anniversaries, I turn it over back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bhattacharya, for your views on transformation. It's always so inspiring to hear you speak about this topic. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to move into the highlight of this evening. It is the fireside chat between the two stalwarts in banking, Ms. Bhattacharya and Mr. Ghosh. And who better to have as the moderator of this chat than the executive editor of CNBC TV18, Ms. Latha Venkatesh. Latha began her career in CNBC TV18 as the chief of the Mumbai News Bureau. Over the years, she has come to be recognized as one of the keenest watchers of Reserve Bank of India and a respected commentator on the banking sector, money markets, and macroeconomic trends. She has also had stints in all major streams of media, having worked in the Economic Times and Dow Jones Newswires for 5 years each. A rather less known fact about Latha is that she has a doctoral degree in political science. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Latha, and we all wait for her to conduct this fireside chat.
Thank you, Avik. Very generous introduction. And thank you very much for making me part of a momentous day and sharing the dais, as it were, the cyber dais, with two stalwarts. First up, my congratulations and all the very best to Bandhan Bank for its 6th anniversary. And I hope this is the start of many more glorious events to come. Well, let me first start by telling you that I think the topic is transformation. And it's not at all surprising that the two people we have here are absolutely iconic in the kind of transformation that they have been able to achieve. Mrs. Bhattacharya would have seen State Bank at a level where passbooks and ledgers were common, and she left the bank giving it YONO, which is such a state-of-the-art digital product. Likewise, Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh started off as literally a barefoot banker with microfinance and educating people and including them in the financial system. And today is the proud head of a well-digitized bank, as he himself said. Well, I can't help noticing that both of you belong to the same state. And of this state, it has been said that what Bengal thinks today, India thinks tomorrow. So that's another reason why it is very important to hear you both. Let me start with the Atithi, Mr. Ghosh, with your permission. Mrs. Bhattacharya, the topic is transformation. And I want first up from you, is there any mantra you had when you transformed a large public sector bank, which had various levels, some of them extremely sophisticated, like investment banking and derivatives and treasury, right up to the last rural branch? How did you transform them into a digitized state-of-the-art bank?
First of all, Latha, let me tell you, it's such a pleasure interacting with you again. You've forgotten about me ever since I've stepped out of the finance area. So it's great to be talking to you again. And thank you very much for that wonderful question. And frankly, with my current role in Salesforce for the past 16, 17 months, it has given me so much of insight into what transformation really means. When I first got into the chairman's chair in State Bank of India, and I looked around and I realized that, the future was digital. And I first talked about digital in the bank. There was actually, a lot of, what should I say, a kind of disbelief, not only a kind of disbelief, a kind of, concern that, SBI already has internet banking and mobile banking. And what is she talking about? Means, what do we need digital for? What is different about digital? And believe me, it is at that stage that I really realized that even the meaning of what is digital is not very well understood, even by the top echelons of the bank. So I think, I went about it in 3 steps. The first step that I took was to convince the top people to get their buy-in. The second initiative that I took was to get the buy-in of the employees down the chain. And the third one that I took was to then convince my customers that the State Bank you see today is very different from the State Bank that was there earlier. Okay. Now, for getting the buy-in of my own people, especially my top management, we did 2 things. First of all, we did a offsite in Lonavala, I remember, in which we invited all of the major big consultants as well as the major IT companies and had them present what was the actual future of banking as they saw it. But better than that, within the next few days, I flew down my entire team to Bangalore. And I had iSpirit, which, as you know, is one of the voluntary organizations that is patronized by Mr. Nandan Nilekani. I had them curate 8 fintechs who came and presented to us what they were doing in the area of financial technology products, the new products that were coming in. And believe me, at the end of these 2 organizations, the urgency that the top management felt was palpable. They realized where they were and they realized where they needed to go. Now, the second thing was the employees and then the customers. How do I go about, really cascading this message down? And it's not easy when you're heading a bank that is 270,000 people and you're looking at customers that is bigger than, the population of Australia and Indonesia combined. Okay. So one of the things that I immediately started was creating 7 branches, which were absolutely state of the art. These branches I created in malls, malls which had very large footfalls. I wanted them created in malls because I wanted them visited by not only our customers and their families, but my own employees and their families. And I wanted these to be open on Saturdays and Sundays so that people could actually go and see what a bank branch could look like. I know this is very counterintuitive. I was trying to create digital, which is a virtual platform. And here I'm creating branches, which I'm saying are digital. So I'm creating a brick and mortar. But unless and until I actually converted that idea into brick and mortar, it would be very difficult for people to understand what I'm talking about, right? And therefore, what we did is we created these e-corners. So these were there at the entrance of the branch, where you had the ATM machine, the cash deposit machine, the passbook printer, multifunction kiosk, the check deposit machine. And this was open 24/7. Okay, self-service 24/7, you could do it. Then you go into the branch. The branches themselves had very large screens. And on the screens, you could play around with a lot of things. You want a loan product, you go touch, say, a home loan, or you touch auto loan. It will ask you, do you want a used auto or do you want a new one? It'll ask you the budget. It will show you all of the models in that budget. It will then allow you to drill down to what social media is saying about that product, or what the manufacturer is claiming about the product. Then it would ask you, do you need a loan? And if you say yes, it will ask you a few questions and ultimately actually can give you an in-principle sanction letter as well. The branches also had, very smart looking tables, almost like out of Star Trek, where you could actually play around with your investment goals. It had little cubicles where you could be private, and there would be a expert at the other end on a screen who could guide you through your investment and through your loan requirements. So, very, very different looking branches, totally state of the art, nothing like this seen in India before. Now, I'm not saying that these branches made money. They didn't. And therefore, when we actually rolled out the initiative, they were called, by the way, in touch branches. The reason was they were mainly touch screens and we wanted to get in touch with the new generation. The new generation had to perceive us as a bank that was digital savvy. Okay. So once we realized which were the opportunities that were working and which were the ones that weren't, we pared it down to the ones that were working and created many such branches. And actually in these branches, with simply typing in your Aadhaar number and scanning your fingerprint, you could open an account in 20 minutes and walk out of the branch with a personalized debit card printed within the bank. Okay. So we had all of these things, now once these things started going, slowly the perception of my employees changed, in the sense they realized this is digital, not simply internet banking and not simply mobile banking. Being able to do many, many more things, being able to hyper-personalize, being able to give experiences. It's the customer experience we are talking about rather than customer service. So that was one. The other thing for further, converting my customers, we started going on the social media. And you know that by the time I left, we were number one in almost all social media, excepting, I think, on Twitter, where we were number two. Everywhere else, we were number one. Because by then, they had also started, the customers, that is the younger customers, had started gaining that traction. So I think, it was a big, long program. And I think that's why my reply is also a little longer. But the transformation is something where you need the buy-in of every single person, every single stakeholder. If that happens, then your transformation is surely going to happen. By the way, a McKinsey study, for instance, says that while 80% of organizations go in for digital transformation, only 3% finish them. Oh, and one of the reasons for that is those 3% have CEOs that are passionately involved in the transformation. And that's where I must compliment Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh, that he's so passionately involved in it. His organization is surely going to see that transformation.
I am going to pose the same question to him, ma'am. You are always welcome on CNBC TV18. I will never miss an opportunity. And I want a private conversation on how you transformed yourself from a banker to an organization and an industry which I thought was for young geeks. I would be terrified of this transformation. So I need some personal tips there. But that conversation offline. And let me get Dr. Ghosh in. Dr. Ghosh, many congratulations to you. Like Mrs. Bhattacharya, you are not just a builder of a bank, you are an institution builder. You have transformed lives, as you say, 30 lakh families. That is 1.5 crore people at least. And then besides that, you have over 2 crore accounts. If you can tell me, how do you transform both? In your case, you have to transform the customer also, because the customer is probably someone whom you have dragged into the financial system for the first time. Do you have people in every branch who educate everyone who enters? Do you have regular training sessions for your own bankers to give them the next lesson in both banking and digitization? Just tell us your experience of transformation.
Thank you, Latha ji. This is a very good the learning session for me also from Arundhati madam. Everything we are learning from the customer first on that. And accordingly, we are converted to the transformation. Whatever my first learning on that, we are doing the job where customer are choice. We cannot avoid the customer choice. And day by day, when the customer choice is like to coming to the digital, automatically I have need to move on to fulfill the demand or the choice of customer fulfill, then I can be like to success on that. For in that sense, I have given the couple of example because I am first to transform myself from microcredit organization person to the bank. And you know that is a very bigger way on that. And I transform myself to learning from my next level and the junior level of the staff in every day. I give that to the how I transform myself, 2-3 cause on that. The morning I reached to the office in at 10:30 instead of 9 a.m. And I reached to my 2 branches or minimum 1 branches in the morning and reached to that branches, talk with the branch people who are already bankered, maybe the earlier bank has come or newly has joined, but to learn on that what customer is demanding and what you done earlier and you are not doing in this bank. And that learning has been helped me to learn this, the banking. And again, I'm coming to the make some policy. I've given on that 1-2 example on this. And the second point on the customer, I have been met many of the customers who are my new customer, not in a microcredit customer. And we are asking them what is they are feeling the bank. And the customers say that your bank are not given the daily balance of my account. I come back to the office, ask to my senior team, why not? Is it not the given by other bank? Is it not the possible to our system? Well, sir, yes, it is system. We can give it on that. Started on that daily SMS to the customer about the balance. People know that this is my balance. So that this is a 2 example I have given on that. It is a learning from the staff and customer, and accordingly we are given on that. Many of the town hall meeting I conducted with the customer and asking their demand, and accordingly we provided on that. And coming on that, my microcredit, it is a totally high touch model. And how it can become to this, the digital. Lots of time I face these challenges, and I like to convince to my customer, they will become to convert as a digital on that. And I find out some of the basic cause of these people, their people business are cash, and they are not anything get the money in their account from the customer. Even they also not buy any of the products from the wholesale market by the digital. So these are cash is coming. So now then the lockdown has come. The couple of days before I went to the Shantiniketan, and I returning back, there is the good area which is called the Shakti God. Langchai is very renowned in their sweets. So many of the people are selling the jhalmuri in front of that shop. And I feel that they are my customer. And I have been stopped the car and taking a tea and asking to these people and find out in all of my customers. And I'm asking on that. So what you are doing for the money and how much you taken? And they say that I am taken 1,30,000. I'm surprised on that. You are selling the jhalmuri and you are taken 1,30,000. It's not utilized. So, sir, that 2 cars for me, and I am giving the rent of these 2 cars. And next question I'm asked to the person, how they diversify the business. And when I asking on that, are you repay the installment? Because 100%. So is it correct? Because sir, yes, I have been learned. What happened? Happened in the first 2 months lockdown in the first wave. And he said that you are not come, I have not paid, and digitally you are not able to accept it. So that I have not paid. And finally, in the last month of when I have been closed this loan last couple of months before, I saw that my interest is little bit higher because of not paying 2 months. So for that reason, I am now asking from your bank how mobile bank can be used to give the installment. And I am now no installment as a default. I am using on that. And I checked on that, the 7% our customer are paying digitally. And now we have been started to educate the customer. They can be use their mobile, they can use their other bank account to repay the installment to us. And third point, it has been helped other point. We have the 1.30 crore borrowers in microcredit. And couple of bank customer, they have the demand the other types of housing loan. They have a demand in the 2-wheeler, and they even this is the type of 4-wheeler for the rental business. And they are going to other lenders. Now, if you see that I have been saying that we are digitally focusing on that, we are setting up on that the data analytics to analyze the data of this customer and provide this data to my business vertical, and they will provide all the need whatever the customer have, and the customer will be like to get that business. So it can be help to us to reduce the cost of manpower, and to on this type of challenging period, the on-time collection will also come, and we can be also get the diversify the business from the same customer, not needed to the more customer attraction, but similar customer we can be like to increase the number of credit and amount. It can be helped on that. So I feel that the transformation for next 5 years is a digital transformation for the customer. When the customer transform digitally, it will be easy for us, our bank transform digitally, and we can be try to understand what is the need of the customer, what is their choice, how they like to use this digital transaction. That learning has come from the field, and accordingly transform on that. So this is the way we are doing on that.
This is a great lesson, sir. It's a lesson for us to sit inside the studio, to go out and speak to several viewers and ask them whether we are serving them at all. It's a big lesson that you are telling us. And maybe that is a huge lesson in transformation that I have learned from you today. Mrs. Bhattacharya, we're running out of time, so I want to get to this technology piece in greater detail. Now, one of the issues that confront bankers, I am told, is whether to keep all their data with themselves or to put it on cloud. Now, there is a lot of hesitation even now, and much more so from the point of view of the regulator. Your thoughts on, whether it is a risk, whether the regulator is justified in forcing banks to keep key data with themselves. How do you see this, internal storage of data to cloud transformation?
So Latha, in this, after having experienced what cloud does in the last so many months, I think, I am at a variance with where the regulators are right now. However, remember one thing, the regulators nowhere say that the data needs to reside completely on the premises. The only circular that mentions this is the video KYC circular, which says it is preferable to have, preferable mind you, they are nowhere saying that cloud should not be used. Now, when you are talking about the difficulties of putting data on cloud, what are we talking about? We are talking about two types of security, physical and logical. Physical security is when you can put the lock on your door, and logical security is different. When people can hack in no matter where the data is, whether it is cloud or whether it is in your premises. Now, if you look at the incidents of data theft, 74% of such incidents happen by your own employees. Okay, so where is the added security of keeping your data locked up in your own premises? Can you, for what should I say? Can you really and truly certify that your own people won't misuse that data? And remember, you wanted to say something.
I just wanted to add to the question.
Okay.
From what little I spoke to the regulators or ex-regulators, not the current ones, their fear appears to be that only a couple of, or maybe a handful of international companies offer cloud. Now, if there is a systemic failure there for whatever reason, maybe for a day, for 2 days, then several banks will get impacted. Whereas if it happens at a localized level, India has 26 banks and it is likely to be one branch or one set of one bank. And therefore, there is at least the security that a large part of the banking system is not paralyzed together. I just wanted to add that question.
No, I get you. But here I must say that the cloud providers today, it is their business, their bread and butter. For us, for instance, we are a cloud native company. Okay, that means we were born in the cloud. So all our applications are only on the cloud. We don't have anything on-prem. And as a result of that, what is the first value we have? The first value we have is trust. So, if we lose our customers' trust, we don't have a business, right? And for instance, a cloud provider will actually give you a 3.9, that is 99.9% availability as a written contract. We ourselves give a written contract of 99.7%. You will not find a single on-prem provider that is giving you that kind of uptime SLA. Okay, so nobody will give you that kind of SLA when it is on-prem, but you can get that kind of SLA when it is on cloud. Regarding the fact that 3 or 4 or 5 such providers may cause big outages in the system, frankly speaking, I think that is overthought, in the sense that even if there are 3 and 4 or 5, and even if the bank itself puts certain applications on certain clouds, this can be always, sort of mitigated. It is a risk that is well within your mitigation limits. Similarly, today, for instance, even for a single instance, for instance, we run a data center at Mumbai on the AWS. Now, AWS has 3 layers of backup, so as to ensure that if one piece goes down, the others remain. And that is why they're able to assure you that it is 99.9% uptime. They cannot give it to you in writing unless and until they are sure that they can do it. The second thing that you must remember is that when we are talking about logical security, we have a security operations center. My earlier organization has it, and it is forever scanning to see whether there are any data threats. But if you look at the kind of scanning that the cloud providers are doing, it is far, far more stringent, and they are scanning the entire globe to see whether there are any threats that are happening. And if there is a threat, they move immediately in order to put in a patch so that the threat doesn't come in and impact them. So if you look at it that way, even then, I'm not saying that they cannot be breached. That's not the contention. The contention is the amount of effort that goes into securing the data today is far more and far more possible by cloud service providers than by keeping people data on-prem. On-prem also has certain other difficulties. One thing is elasticity. As the banks increase in capacity, like Mr. Ghosh's bank is doing right now, if your capacity requirements go up hugely suddenly, you will not be able to accommodate it on-prem. You'll be able to do it on the cloud. Second thing is, if you even want to do it on-prem, it's very, very capital intensive, because you have to get more and more servers. You have to get the disaster recovery servers. For everything, you need 3 sets of servers. One for the actual system, one for the near site disaster recovery, one for the far site disaster recovery. So look at the amount of capex that you need to do. And this capex is something that you'll have to continue to do as the servers get upgraded. Okay. Whereas if you put it with a cloud service provider, the entire infrastructure is taken away by them. You are only paying OPEX. There is no capex. Okay. The only time when there will be capex, or when you actually have some amount of expenditure, is when you actually migrate to the cloud. But after that, cloud providers, for instance, people like us, we provide an update every 4 months, so that you are always on top of the latest, that is there, latest technology that is there. We also have an excellent gamified platform for your people to learn what is the new feature that has come in, so that your products keep getting upgraded every 4 months. You are then avoiding those very terrible migrations after every 5 or 6 years. Plus, if you are looking at AI and ML, AI means that you have to learn from historical data. The bigger the data sets, the better will be with the AI projection. artificial intelligence production requires large data sets. Handling large data sets on on-prem systems is a very, very costly affair. Not so costly on the cloud. And therefore, your AI projections, your machine learning will be far better and far superior if you have your systems on the cloud rather than if you have them on-prem. So there are a lot of reasons why today in the developed world, cloud has almost become the norm. On-prem is very, very rare. Cloud is almost the norm. So here too, I believe that, it is time for our regulators to think this through. And while they very clearly, I have in fact talked to them, and they very clearly said that we have not told anybody not to go on cloud. True, but you have not told them to go on the cloud either. So I want them to actually say, please assess your, actual requirements, see which is giving you better results, and take your calls accordingly. I want them to actually encourage cloud, as is being done by, most of the regulators, like whether it be MAS, whether it be APRA, whether it be HKMA, and of course, all of the Western world regulators. But even people in our area, even they are projecting it as something of the future. Thailand has already started something like a cyber currency. The Philippines has very much, actually backed a company that with the help of World Bank has even taken its core banking onto the cloud.
Oh,
So, yeah, it's happened in one of the Filipino banks. Even the core banking is now sitting on the cloud. It was a joint project with World Bank, but it was actually backed by the regulator, the Filipino regulator. So I think the time has come for us to take this step in our industry as well.
yeah, I think the step has to be taken mentally, and then I guess it will be taken digitally. Dr. Ghosh, one of the challenges facing the banking system, and including banks like yours, maybe less so a state bank or an HDFC bank, is that these new apps, which are these buy now, pay later, the BNPL offers, they have this whole host of options. And the app leads you to a Federal or a IDFC or a Bandhan or something like that. The state of the art, the banker becomes dependent on the app. So do you see these neo banks as a threat, or do you see them as footsteps to transformation?
Very good point, but very complex for me.
Okay.
I am very, but I have been learned from the madam, whatever say that. The point is there that whatever the way the banking industry is growing in India, and whatever the digital transformation is happening by the users. So I hope that we are not that much ready to support on that. We have need to prepare the 10 years after what will be like to make. So related to maybe not the direct, but related to the Arundhati madam, one point I have been raised on that. Our bank is a per year, the 3 million customer newly added in a year. My software vendor have not expected. When I told that time, they're not expected and that it can be achievable. But they prepared the server on the basis of maybe the 1 million or 2 millions. And now every quarter we are facing the challenge. They are changing they upgrade the server, and we are facing the problem to the customer and not getting the service in the timely. So I hope that may be the one of the cause. The bank are not ready in that amount of the transaction to take in the bank. If you say that another point on that, our bank, I'm also sometimes is a surprise. 87% of our transaction in a month by digitally, which is a very big amount. Even in the last 2 years before, it was not in a 50%. Now has come to 87%. And the next, the 2 years will be like to reach in that, this year I have that 90% and next year the 95%. If it has happened on that way to digital, we'll be like to prepare the platform, app, UPI, everything on that. This is one. Another part on that, because of the security issue, lots of change is coming. And the change coming, one have been prepared, UPI, and then again another one has come. And then it will be like to lot of investment, lot of things is need to forecast in a very future. And that can be when it will be like to little bit stable. I hope that challenge will be not come much more on that.
If I didn't make my question clear, even in my first question, I wanted to ask, in your case, since you, are in the forefront of financial inclusion,
Correct.
you often have to educate your customer much more than perhaps an SBI has to, or an HDFC or an ICICI has to. You are a more rural bank and more, for the person who is making the first time entry into the banking system. You are standing at the doorstep of Indian banking itself.
Correct.
So how do you manage that transformation? Do you have in every branch someone who is, sitting with the customer and training him?
The first point on that, when we first acquire the customer, we have been educate them 2 weeks about the banking. That means that the credit and credit discipline and credit of that the repayment tenure, everything we are educated them. When they come first to take the loan, first they will be take an exam as a candidate. If the randomly 5 question answer is not given, they are reject on that. They go back. So this is the way we are making it called the financial literacy, or we can say about the credit discipline, we educate first. And it is a part of our business, not in a separate person. Who are conducting that the customer acquisition and conduct that group meeting, they must do it on that. This is the first. Second point on that, when the new customer is coming, first formation, new customer is coming, our policy is there, every group meeting weekly, 15 minutes they will discuss some of the topics we are presented to them. And they are continuously talking on that point. And so that it has been happened on that such a way, because other people also say that if you not know all these things, cannot reply, so you will be returned back from the branch, not to get a loan. So this is the one way, some pressure, some of the motivation, some of the education. And second point on that, now it is coming to the transformation for digital part on that.
Yes.
Digital part of that, our borrowers are not much more capacity. They are used their children, their daughter or their son, they are more very much conscious about it and do it on that. And they are used them and to that. So for that reason, when you're digital talking about the customer, if you say that the now is it different because of the bank, they are coming to the meeting, they are, we are not taking the signature for withdrawal the money. They are use the biometric to the money for simplify, for fit for them. Because if I taken the signature today and after the 2 weeks, their signature will be different. So it cannot be possible on that. A signature can be like to captured in that way, but we capture and biometric help from that, this thing. And hard challenge for this customer, they are not happily come to my branch to transact. Even the nearest, they are asking on that, you come with a tab and I will be like to withdraw and deposit. So this is a one challenge on that. They are not like to travel because of the small ticket size.
Yes.
But they are education, whatever we are given, that they are accept and follow it very good. And we are seeing the checked in the group level. They are follow very fantastic way on that. So that is the advantage we get it on that. And in this way we are doing. And other point, we are that's another senior level of the staff. They are also sometimes visit. When they are visit in the group meeting, they checked. And when they are coming to the office level to take in the loan, they ask some question. And automatically it is an environment created, and they are automatically educate themselves also to know about this.
Okay. This is absolutely fascinating stuff, Dr. Ghosh and Mr. Bhattacharya. My cuckoo clock struck 7, and I was told that I cannot take further questions with both of you. But this is indeed a fascinating experience. You both are not just institutional builders; you are both nation builders, and this is absolutely fascinating that you are able to give a Q&A, a kind of an exam to a customer, and then graduate him into the financial inclusion, into the financial system. This is inclusion, which I think should, the message should go far and wide to the 4 corners of the world. Mr. Ghosh, you are that kind of an evangelist when it comes to financial inclusion. I do hope and pray that Bandhan Bank goes from strength to strength, this 6th birthday being just the first step, that it has many more years of flourishing existence as a bank and as a cutting-edge institution, because the growth of Bandhan is literally the growth of India. Likewise, my many congratulations and all the very best wishes to Mrs. Bhattacharya for getting the entire financial sector into the cutting-edge world of digitization. Mrs. Bhattacharya and Dr. Ghosh, thank you very much for participating in this conversation. And my thanks to Bandhan Bank for allowing me to be part of this function.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take my leave because there is another program at 7 o'clock, which is also a CNBC program, I'm sorry to say.
Okay.
I will take my leave. Thank you ever so much. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Bhattacharya. Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. And thank you, Latha, for conducting this fireside chat in such an engaging manner. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm sure all those who are listening in have gone back much more enlightened, and they know much more about transformation within the banking segment and overall as well. Thank you so much. It is now time for me to invite the chairman of Bandhan Bank, Dr. Anup Kumar Sinha, who is going to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. Good evening to all of you. Ms. Arundhati Bhattacharya, Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh, Ms. Latha Venkatesh, customers of Bandhan Bank, investors, board members, employees, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to thank all of you for being a part of our Foundation Day celebration. Today's fireside chat was a fitting event marking 6 years of Bandhan Bank and encapsulating the key essence of the nation's and Bandhan Bank's journey ahead, transformation. It was rather enlightening to hear the thoughts of Ms. Bhattacharya on transformation, what it really means, and its impact. Often, what we tend to miss seeing are the challenges that the transformation journey brings with itself. The fireside chat gave us valuable insights on the key focus areas one should consider on the journey of transformation. So many thanks to the interesting insights and anecdotes from your experiences, Ms. Bhattacharya and Mr. Ghosh. And thank you, Latha, for moderating the session and keeping us engaged through it. Bandhan Bank turning 6 is a celebration of growth, of courage, and of hope. And I would like to thank everyone who has been a part of this incredible story. The bank's journey has been an exhilarating one. We have been able to create many a milestone, and we hope to continue to make a difference in people's lives. Our story is deeply rooted in the support and encouragement of our customers. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of them. The Bandhan story would not have been possible without their encouragement. I would like to conclude by thanking all of you again for joining us this evening and making this occasion special. Here's to many more successful years of Bandhan Bank. Stay safe and stay well, and have a great evening forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sinha. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the 6th anniversary celebration of Bandhan Bank. The last count that we see, more than 25,000 people watched this webinar, and I would like to thank all of them on behalf of everyone at Bandhan Bank. Please stay safe, stay healthy. Good night.
Good night.